Everyone at Ashbridge High remembered the night of prom, but not because of the music, the lights, or the crowning of the king and queen. No, it was because of what happened to Eva Langley, the quietest girl in school, and how she turned heartbreak into a moment so powerful it silenced every voice that once whispered her name in mockery. Eva had always been invisible. Not the kind of invisibility where people didn't know her name, but the kind that meant people saw her and chose to look away. She sat in the third row of every class, never the front, never the back. She wore soft colors, kept her curly brown hair pinned back neatly, and never raised her hand unless asked. Teachers liked her for her discipline. Students ignored her out of habit, except for a few. There were always those who found joy in someone else's silence. Harper Miller, daughter of the school superintendent, and her clique of mean girls, had made Eva their favorite background. Target Mousy Eva, they called her. Librarian chic, they'd joke, tossing paper scraps at her from behind. Ever responded, never retaliated. It was easier to pretend she didn't hear them. But when prom season arrived, Eva made a decision that shocked even herself. She bought a ticket. It had taken her months to save up, working weekends at a small flower shop. She didn't tell anyone, not because she was embarrassed, but because it was hers. A night she'd quietly dreamed of since she was 12, watching other girls try on sparkling dresses and imagine their big moment under the lights. With trembling hands and a hopeful heart. She chose a long, pale blue gown. It wasn't flashy, but it was beautiful. Soft satin that shimmered in the light. Her mother wept when she saw her try it on. Eva hadn't felt beautiful in years. That day she did. The night of prom arrived. Eva stood in front of the mirror. Her hair curled, makeup light and delicate. Her dress hugged her perfectly, and for once her reflection didn't feel like a stranger. It felt like the version of her she had always kept locked away. She arrived alone. Clutching her tiny purse, heart racing as she stepped into the glittering ballroom, eyes turned. Some surprised. Some amused. She walked past Harper's table. "My God," Harper whispered, loudly enough to be heard. "Is that Eva Langley, who let Cinderella in without a pumpkin?" Laughter erupted. Eva forced a smile and kept walking. She danced once alone, towards the back of the hall, swaying gently to a slow song. For a moment the world felt far away, until someone tapped her on the shoulder. She turned, and everything shattered. It happened in seconds. Two of Harper's friends stood behind her grinning. One held scissors. The other yanked at the back of Eva's dress. In one swift motion, the satin tore down the side. Gasps echoed around the room. Someone laughed. Someone else shouted, "It's a joke. It's a prank." But it wasn't. Eva stumbled backward, clutching the torn fabric. Her arms wrapped around her body in horror. Tears filled her eyes, and as the laughter grew louder, she ran. Out the door. Into the night, she didn't stop running until she reached the old greenhouse behind the flower shop where she worked. Her boss, Mrs. Amara, a retired botanist in her 70s, lived in a small cottage nearby. She saw Eva from her window and rushed out. Eva collapsed into her arms, sobbing uncontrollably. The dress was shredded, spirit even more so. "I shouldn't have gone," Eva whispered. "They were right. I didn't belong." Mrs. Amara held her close. "No, darling. They don't belong in your light." Eva cried until she fell asleep on the couch in the greenhouse. Mrs. Amara covered her with a soft quilt, made tea, and began to think. By dawn, the greenhouse was filled with movement. Florists from nearby shopspeople who knew Eva from her deliveries and soft-spoken charm gathered at Mrs. Amara's request. She told them what happened. They were outraged. "She's the sweetest girl I've ever met," one said. "She saved my son's birthday with a last-minute bouquet," another added. "She doesn't deserve this." Together, they formed a plan. Mrs. Amara took Eva's torn dress and began sewing by hand, using soft petals and lace from old vintage gowns. Another woman brought a hairstylist. A third, a makeup artist. When Eva woke up mid-morning, dazed and swollen-eyed, she was surrounded by people. Asterisk. What? ... What's going on? She asked. You're going back? Mrs. Amara said gently. But I asterisk no buts. You're going to walk back in there, not as the shy girl they teased, but as the woman they'll never forget. At noon, the prom brunch was still underway. The students gathered at the outdoor terrace, laughing, eating, scrolling through the chaos from the night before. Asterisk, the videos of Eva running out had already gone viral on social media. Memes were spreading. Harper and her friends were basking in the attention. Asterisk. Then the music stopped. Everyone turned. Eva walked in. Asterisk, wearing a gown unlike anything anyone had ever seen. Asterisk, it was sewn with lace, ribbon, and hundreds of tiny pastel flowers, real ones woven into the fabric like art. Her hair was pinned with white orchids, her eyes calm, posture straight. She walked like a quintal, unbothered, glowing. The entire terrace went silent, even Harper. No one dared speak. Asterisk. Eva walked to the center of the crowd and stopped. Asterisk, I came here last night, she said, voice clear but steady, hoping to feel like I belonged, and some of you tried to take that from me. She turned her gaze to Harper, who looked like she'd been slapped by silence. But I realized this morning, your cruelty isn't a reflection of me. It's a mirror of your own fears. And I won't carry that weight anymore. Asterisk. Not a single person interrupted her. Asterisk, she didn't cry. She didn't yell. She simply nodded and turned to leave. Asterisk. But before she could step away, a voice called out from the crowd. I'm sorry, said a boy from the football team. And then another girl. You didn't deserve that. More voices followed. Eva paused, surprised. Not because she needed their validation, but because it was the first time she felt truly seen. That Monday, Harper was suspended. The school board launched a full review after the video evidence. Public apologies were made. Received messages from strangers, friends, even reporters. But she turned most of them down. Asterisk, she didn't want fame. She wanted to heal. Asterisk, with Mrs. Amara's help. Eva began volunteering at the greenhouse more often. She started designing floral gowns for photo shoots and eventually launched a small line called Rebloomed Dresses, made from recycled fabric and flowers. Inspired by her experience, asterisk, by the time she graduated, Eva had built a name for herself not as the shy girl, but as the girl who bloomed through the storm. Final message. Asterisk, true courage isn't in fighting fire with fire, it's in rising with grace when others expect you to fall. Asterisk, Eva. Langley didn't just walk back into prom, she walked into her power. And by dawn, no one dared speak her name with anything but awe. Asterisk.